anything too incredibly crazy to kick things off at the start of rounds, but it was what he was able to get done on the 1v3s, right? Or in the latter half of the games where he was able to net some kills and really come in clutch. Those impact frags were absolutely huge. So we talked about Vanity, we talked about Zelsis. Effie's absolutely one that we have to continue to talk about, as well as a wall up towards mid, gonna slow things down for a second. But it's quickly cut down, and it's looking like a quick B hit here. Turret should get some information. Paranoid to go on through, try and stop the shots from coming down range. Weeded on the off angle, playing right behind the turret, and open things up here in the lower semis. Weeded with the first onto Penny, and there's still some pretty good utility on the side of version 1. So taking that jet off the board isn't necessarily maybe the kill that you want to have, but does feel good as they look for some more. The boombot right behind him, it gets shot down, but Aaron, the real target you wanted to find. And for version 1, things looking pretty grim on the pistol.
That was a great combination of the boombot and the peek there from Aaron. This made it really difficult for V1 to deal with him here. And now it just seems like XSET are really starting to clean up. Only 2 members left here. Effie's with the spike, basically trapped over towards A Heaven, now forced to retreat through ropes as Vanity has taken over B Heaven and it is open except for Glypho, who's playing towards main, and he has spotted Vanity. He puts the turret down. He's doing his job to make sure he has this site covered, and he's buying time for his teammates to rotate.
Yeah, and the turret ends up cleaning up Vanity. Just a tough spot to be in. A nice flashpoint. Effie is able to find one, but BCJ closes that out. Only a couple of deaths there in the pistol, but XSET gonna grab the first, and we'll see. We didn't get a whole lot of forces yesterday, Dust, so I think that we kind of see the same lay of the land here.
Yeah, this is a great start for XSET to take this pistol away here on Split, the pick of version 1. Version 1 have been so nasty on Split. They come with an 80% win rate on the map. They've only had one real recent loss. That was to Cloud9. Just a couple of, or yesterday, but before that they were on an 8-game winning streak, so they have been really hot on Split. Meanwhile, more of a 50-50 map for XSET, if I'm honest, and recently it's been a bit of a struggle, so to see them kick off early well here on the defense is definitely a good sign for them.
Yeah, and they are just trying to send it here on the pistol, quite possibly looking to get this one over with so they can get their hands on a couple of rifles. A Bulldog bought up by Aaron, so that bonus gonna have a bit more power behind it going into the next round if they're able to hang on to that one. But Spectres for just about everybody else. Penny find that kill onto Weeded, so a little bit of retaliation from round number 1. Flashpoint gonna try and blind 3 in the flank to come on through. It's Pure to cut him down, and Zelsis the last one standing with 30 HP. It's not looking too great here on the pistol.
No, certainly not. They didn't really have a whole lot invested into this, but they have gotten a couple of kills, and Zelsis might try to get a little bit more, but no, Pure gonna take him out there, and so that's 2-0 start for XSET. And just to add a bit more context to the recent results on Split, it is worth noting that the quality of opponent version 1 has played is not of the same caliber, right? XSET's recent losses have been to Sentinels twice and Envy 3 times, so you know they're definitely playing kind of the elite of the region, and still able to put up some respectable numbers and beat some solid teams like LG and TSM. So no slouches, but just overall win percentage not been as high as version 1. But version 1 haven't had that many opportunities to play the best of the best, and so this is their chance to make a statement. Off to a cold start, but now their economy is back under them, and they'll be able to full send it here, as they're a team that really does like the pressure that one side of the map heavy to start, and that's no exception into this round. So they're really looking to test the waters at A early.
You see that star on the ground from Aaron. I'm going to be paying attention to those to see how he's looking to use that. It is going to be a Nebula smoke for the first, and I think another star to follow just in case anybody decides to push on through. And Penny not expecting the boombot to come on out. It forces them back into the sewers, and yeah, that hurts on your rifle round.
Even healed, he's still only at 22 HP, so that is definitely a really well done play there from XSET to push that pressure off. And now they get aggressive in B lobby and find Vanity, who default-wise for this team does like to lurk that B side of the map or middle, and he's been caught now, so a lot of intel to V1. Zelsis tries to respond by taking control of vents to threaten that ropes position, and so at least he's taken something back, maybe setting up an A split, but there's still a good defense in place, and we do have BCJ on the breach kind of guarding this A Heaven rotation. And there he goes. Zelsis is found out, and this is looking grim now for V1.
This is a rough spot to be. Very reminiscent of what we were seeing yesterday, where the rifle round, the first one for either team, it just kind of fell by the wayside. It took a few rounds or a couple of those rifle rounds to really start to get things going and be able to get that read on your opponent. So unfortunately, Version 1 now running out of time, running out of players as the last one cut down. Nice little crossfire there over towards A. Pushes XSET to 3 rounds, and it pushes Version 1 back to the pistols.
Yeah, definitely not going to have the economy with no spike plants or anything like that to give them that extra bit of buffer to try to force another buy. So it should be XSET starting up 4-0. And again, this is a bold statement for a team that, again, aren't really known for their split, I guess you would say. Definitely kind of known for some of their other maps in the pool. And so, yeah, they're definitely kicking things off in the right direction here. Again, not much Version 1 can say about it this time around. Just the upgraded pistols, including 3 sheriffs. And a couple of frenzies.
Ooh, Nebula Smokes called back. The pistols from downtown, not able to find too much there. Zelsis, unfortunately, taking a bit of damage. Penny now with the Blade Storm online.
Yeah.
This is a round where you release. Oh my goodness! I would say we usually see him send it, but instead it's the frenzy kill first from all the way downtown. A main to elbow there, and player 1 gets chunked down 124 damage onto the Cypher. It doesn't feel great, but the heal is there. The blades are still available. Flashpoint gonna go out. Kill's gonna be traded back and forth on the side. BCJ picks up 2, but Penny is still moving. Penny still has the blades and is very healthy on this Jet. Vanity looking just as healthy. Doesn't necessarily have the arsenal behind him with just a ghost in hand. We'll see what kind of space Penny can create.
Kira still has a showstopper as well. He's going to get pushed in, jumps it out, takes them all down, including himself, Tanner. But that is a worthwhile sacrifice, and I was a little bit curious about what would happen if Version 1 decided to test that screens position with Pure having the rockets ready to go, and they were trying to stamp him out before he could actually complete the animation and actually get the rocket off, but they were a little too late, and that wins the round. That's the checkmate. But that's still a really close round. V1 did a great job putting the pressure on XSET there. Definitely forcing some rebuys, definitely forcing them to break a bit of a sweat. Now they come back into their next full buy. No operator, but plenty of rifles and utility to go around. And again, they're looking for that early A pressure, and this time it's being reinforced with even more players. They have no presence on B side of the map. They're basically fully committed to this.
Nebula in mid, gonna slow things down alongside that barrier orb. Elsis putting in some work on that one, just trying to cut it down. But like you said, a lot of pressure over towards this A site. And I mean, Thwyfo has been, it feels like, all over the place with this setup that when you run into that turret, it's so defeating that it possibly spotted 1, 2, 3 members pushing up towards this A heaven area.
Yeah, both these teams are very explosive teams. They do favor that more assertive style, you know, overloading one area of the map early and just really continuing to make that slow progress until they feel confident to go ahead and just full send it. And here you can see the lockdown trying to deter this A attack, but XSET may get in some trouble. But yeah, BCJ has just been the guardian of those ropes.
And drops the ultimate on the back end. They just can't catch a break. The ult utility used here for XSET has been so huge for this squad. It's now all down to Vanity, and okay, there it is. Never mind. He peeks and say he's getting pinched from behind. XSET looks so good here. That's the second rifle going their way.
Yeah, and they're coming clean, right? Like, they've been challenged on eco rounds, and it's been full buy versus full buy. They seem dominant. BCJ, again, just not allowing these vent lurks to have any impact. Again, great combo of just kind of staging out the round. You started off with the lockdown to kind of make it a little bit tough on V1 to get that early pressure, and then you follow it up with the rolling thunder to just punch your ticket to a 5th round. And now you see V1 actually having to just try to get some, you know, upgraded pistols, a Bucky and a you know, SMG out there. And this time they're going for the full B play, wasting no time sending that boombot forward and trying to get in here.
Paranoia again, an eco round. They've got the Buckies, they've got some pistols, but it's not going to be enough to get anything just yet. Player 1 falls with the spike in hand. If he's able to trade a kill back with the Spectre, but we did Gonna pick up where his team left off. Sprays down one. Effie's still alive, but stunned. He's gravity well, Nova pulsed, everything except for the kitchen sink to close out another round for XSET.
I mean, BCJ has been so on point already, and I don't know why I'm surprised. I don't know if he's fragging while guarding the ropes, but his flashes have been perfect on setting up his teammates to feel confident to take these duels in open space, knowing that they are going to have the edge on vision, and they have been really using it to good effect. You can see one here, just both players taken out of their element as we did swings to finish off the round with Pure. Obviously around that Version 1 couldn't say much about it, but now they're back onto the full buy. And again, they haven't had any success with the early A pressure, so now they're going to go for a little bit more of a heavy-handed play at mid, and that's not a bad call. If you can get control of mailroom, you can cause a lot of disruption in defensive rotations and open up options for splitting either site. So not a bad call to just slow it down, play it a bit more default, and see if that adjustment can give you better results.
Round 7, the third round for Version 1 where they've been able to find themselves on a full rifle buy, and this is where they need to start getting some stuff moving.
They're like, thank God BCJ's not here.
Exactly. Free passage that time.
You could see they were worried, though. They double peeked it and they staggered it to where they would be able to trade him if he had been there. Now they're getting flushed out of position by the aftershock. Great catch by Pure. Again, BCJ just setting up his teammates so well.
Yeah, and it's the rest of the squad right behind him. Again, Dwipo setting up on a different site. Effie's still able to find some kills, but it hasn't been really able to amount to anything. 8 HP, and he's still going to work. Vanity will finally sit him down. A very favorable fight to take for the Omen. Now a 1v2 split in the side. Make it a 1v3 completely sandwiched in. One from spawn, one from heaven, one from hell as XSET steal away another round.
Need to call a timeout immediately. Yeah. It's got to come. They need to talk this out. They've tried it all. They've tried a mid-heavy default. They tried early A pressures. They did kind of more of an eco B rush, I guess, not really one that had a lot of utility and firepower behind it. So I feel like they've really kind of run the gambit on their playbook, and just nothing's been fruitful, really. They had a couple of close rounds, I guess, but nothing too threatening. I think the closest they had was like that 2v2 where Pure wins off the showstopper, and other than that, it has been just dominance from XSET. I feel like after this round, when they get their full buy back, they need to talk it out a little bit extra.
And then when they go for something a little spicy, it just gets completely stunted and shot in the back. Pure finds 3 to cut down yet another round, make it 4. And player 1 has 5 players to worry about standing right in front with just a sheriff in hand. There's no absolute way for Version 1 to get back in the game when they're playing this darn good.
An ace, and I don't know that anyone really lost HP for XSET that round. Maybe Pure lost a little bit, but I think he can be forgiven considering he just took down 5 players on the other side. So we'll let him take a little bit of damage there. He got healed up, actually, maybe by We Did, yeah. So that's why I thought he didn't take much damage. But either way, big round for XSET. And again, I'd love to see a timeout here from V1. And the only thing I can really think of is just try to put a little bit more of a threat on mailroom a little bit earlier. It seems like when they have done it, they've already dwindled numbers too much to really be able to reinforce that threat. And it feels like sometimes they move a little bit too fast once they do have control. Like that round they took B Heaven control, they just kind of ran straight into Dwifo's utility rather than kind of trying to bait it out a little bit and you know, trying to make it easier on themselves to access the site. So I'd like to see them keep up the mid pressure. I think that's good. Break that sage wall, threaten mailroom, make it a little bit harder for Version, you know, usually for XSET to read rotations. Yeah, and then slow roll, I think, that the B Heaven pressure. You know, burn some of that Killjoy utility or whatever you think is over there, and then work your way in. They have some very potent entry fraggers, but right now they're just getting scrambled. I feel like they just need to get their footing, get that map control, and then use it as a launching pad.
Do break the wall down nice and early, opening things up towards mid, and they've got players split across the map. Player 1 over towards A, Vanity looking to lurk over towards that B main area.
Nice.
Killjoy is set up on A, so should they look to take the fight up towards B, it would not be free, but you have a whole lot less to worry about, and you're off to a pretty good start off the back end of a timeout.
This is where I'd love to see Vanity send a Paranoia through B Heaven and really let them put that pressure on there. And then they don't even have to necessarily commit, right? They had that cam still set up over outside, and they can still double back if they need be. But again, they have a lot to punch through right now. They have the rest. They have, you know, so much to just get in here.
Not like this, BCJ. The extreme off angle. Oh my goodness, a gravity well to stop him. He's got a couple of flash points to use. 3 players to look to cut down inside the cloud burst, and he does just that. Vanity and Player One have since linked up and pushed onto the B side, but I mean, what does it mean? Hopefully something here in a 2v2 with the lockdown coming on through. There's looking to spray right through the wall. The showstopper going to be used, but here we go, a 1v1. Dwifo, the last one standing, operator in hand, is going to hop on over to the Phantom. Sentinel v Sentinel. He has the information as to where Player One is playing, and he's got the shots on target.
XSET just look immovable. They are just perched upon this rock of split, and it does not seem like anything will topple them. This was brilliant from BCJ. Again, great flash points, great use of the grab to kind of force them back and set up his flashes. Again, it's just great coordination, great team play, great use of utility to play off of one another. They are just more polished than Version1 right now in this game from what I'm seeing. Version1 look a bit shook. I like the adjustment to go for the heavy mid control again and get that mailroom control, but again, they're struggling to get that next step forward, that actual launch into the site without just leaking numbers along the way. And look at this, Penny just trying to take matters into his own hands here with the daggers, but forced backwards by the orb and the flashes.
And just completely delayed. Now they have the information as to where BCJ is playing. They can look to play away from the breach because that seems to be the play, but unbeknownst to them, they're running right back into that killjoy, and it's Dwifo with the operator.
I like the dynamic defense, man. I like that XSET are moving around that killjoy utility and keeping V1 guessing. Like, they're already struggling to adjust to the base defense, and now you're, you know, changing the variables up along the way to just remain steps ahead. But we'll see if XSET can try to brute force their way through here with these daggers and SMGs.
There's the eco round in the last where we almost saw him pick it up as the off angle. Not going to work this time around. BCJ tries to go through Cyber Cage. Not going to find too much there. Weeded going to be spotted out. The Blade's going to take him down, though. 1-for-1 on the site, but XSET find themselves on the back foot. No resurrection available as Weeded taken off the board. Finally, a spike will be planted in this game. Effie's going to go for the res just to secure it. Again, that arsenal's not great, Dust.
Is that really the first spike plant in the game?
I think so.
You might be right, honestly. It has been quite dominant. We'll see if V1 can finish it off. They're certainly in prime position to do so in now a 5 versus 2, where Pure and BCJ have yet to be able to really penetrate back into the site. They're still very much stuck up here in heaven. They're trying to sort out their angles. Pure does get down, but he takes damage along the way. He's now mopped up. It's all on BCJ, and that's a little bit too much to ask of him there, as Player One's going to come up with the quad. Until finally around on the board for Version1. Again, they were finally able to abuse that B Heaven. We were kind of talking about that earlier, Tanner, that they needed to try to, you know, push that mail room control a bit further and actually split up the site. And it really just kind of came off of a dry peak where they kind of caught XSET a little bit off guard on that balcony and were able to press forward because of it after burning that utility earlier. That's, again, another thing I was hoping to see them change is, you know, not commit too early, burn some utility, then recommit. And that's exactly what they did, and it worked out. So can they keep it up for another couple of rounds and try to actually close the gap on the scoreboard? It's now the next big question.
Delayed wall. 2 players going to go up top. It gets a bit of value, but it's a 2-for-2 overall. Weeded once more taken off the board, and Effie's looking to work towards that resurrection once more, using the last round to secure it. And, well, it did its job as they picked up their first, but now things slow down in a 3v3 across the map, and Dwifo mixes it up once more. The turret not in heaven. It's on that A site, so you just can never expect to know where this killjoy is. And
they might have him pinned. They might have him pinned here. That's maybe a high-low peak he's about to run into if he chances things a little bit too much. Again, a 3-on-3, not bad for V1. It's been one of the better positions they've been in all game long, but it's just Player One being stuck in a spot he is about to start getting support. But it's all going to come down to timing, as now they're going to start moving down. The cam's out, but in the wrong place, and Dwifo will punish for that mistake.
That is, yeah, and that's, again, timing. Player One just didn't have any information that somebody is peeking, goes into the cam. Obviously, they already know he's there, and the timing just so terrible for him.
I actually recant that. I don't say that he made a mistake. He did just get timing, and that's just unfortunate for him, but smart play from XSET. V1, though, trying to fight back. Vanity, great pick on the Dwifo, now getting that balcony control, walling off the screens, limiting the angles that XSET can come back through without being detected, as a spike will go down, and they do have a shot at this. no ults in play other than the divide, but I don't know how much that's really going to help.
Yeah, I mean, there it is. So we'll see what the Cosmic Divide does here in this round, if anything. It looks like they're looking to play up towards Heaven. They shouldn't hear him drop down because of the divide, and you don't have to worry about those nano swarms any longer. Takes a shot just to try and mask the dropping sound as Aaron looking to play over towards Elbow. Now they have to push onto the site. They're running out of time, out of the dark cover. They will go a 1v1, and Vanity looks the wrong way. XSET grab it back, the momentum swinging in their favor, and double digits here in the first half.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, Tanner. The Cosmic Divide did allow Pure to get down, clear under Heaven without being detected, kind of realizing that both players likely had to be on site or maybe like beat more towards sewers or something along those lines. I thought Vanity actually did a great job with the counter paranoia against the stun of Aaron to try to kind of hold off that retake a bit, but XSET is just trade fragging way too efficiently for V1 to handle right now. They are just so far behind. Zelsis has not really gotten going with that 1 kill on Raze. I mean, that's a guy you want to be creating openings, and he just hasn't really been able to do so. And part of it could be he's just missing a little bit of individual form this match, but I think a lot of it is just XSET are so much on the same page right now. Now they're playing together.
And they look to grab some early aggression over towards this A site. This time, 2 players pushing that way, both player 1 and Zelsis. 1-for-1 traded, and BCJ had the ultimate available, so it's a nice one to take off the board. We did Bunny hopping his way through the rafters. Here comes the showstopper. Vanity gonna get sat down, and across the map, the Sentinels went toe-to-toe, and Pure's not done yet. It's all up to Penny, who has to grab the spike and make a play with a minute left on the clock in a 1v4.
Bro, the V1 hype train is a little bit off the rails right now, Tanner. I'm not going to lie. Meanwhile, the XSET hype train's full steam ahead, baby. They're doing everything that you could want if you're an XSET fan, just showing you why they've been able to make this grind up the North American rankings, why they keep qualifying every single time for every Challengers and Masters event on their first attempt. They have really built themselves up to be, like you say, kind of a Titan Slayer in the region. You know, they're not quite themselves a Titan in the rankings, but they're kind of a gatekeeper team to that top 5, I feel like. And they're really showing you that maybe they're on their way into the top 5 themselves if they can play like this, as they're already within the top 4 here of this first Challengers event. Rez comes in, and Penny's in a lot of trouble, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, Rolling Thunder, everything thrown that way. The Rez, the ults, 5 players. Penny, yeah, it was, you know, with no Blade Storm.
You can't blame him. 11-1 on split defense. We know this map.
Version 1 is the team that came back down 11-1. They won 12 in a row, but it was on the inverse. It was on their attacking side that they did that.
30 seconds left.
So now on the defense, I'm not too sure what to expect. And so through the transitive properties with V1 beating XSET on this map, and XSET, or excuse me, Envy, and Envy beating XSET, you would think it'd be the inverse. Go back to the pistol, and this is, I mean, quite possibly the round of the game right here.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mike was needed to stream there, but what I was trying to say is, like, normally V1 have a decent attack on this map, like 61%. Even had a great attack recently against BBG, and again, normally a great side for them, so to only get 1 round is definitely not looking good, and it's going to be a very tough comeback climb with not much breathing room to work with. As XSET just pounce onto this A site, walling up screens. All 5 players still standing. Spike will go down. They have frenzies aplenty to play these close angles as well.
It just doesn't feel like anything can cut down that wall, right? There's not a singular pistol. Maybe the Sheriff if you're really going to town on it, but it takes 2, and even then, you pull your knife out there like we saw player 1 doing. It just buys so much space and time, as does Weeded, finding the first kill. Now a heal available Zeppi trades it back, but XSET starting to come out on top. The last two remaining here. Vanity gonna get cut down there at the end by BCJ, and the pistol's too strong, XSET too strong, and I'm assuming on map point, they're only gonna get stronger here.
Bro, just stick a fork in version 1 for this map at least. I mean, this is maybe one of the most dominant performances I've seen in VCT. Honestly. And not even just because of the score, which in itself it shows you how dominant it is, but just the manner in which these rounds have been played. It just looked like there's maybe, other than the round that version 1 won, Tanner, there was maybe only 2 other rounds where I could have conceived of V1 winning. Everything else, it was very clear from start to finish XSET we're going to be on top. They have been so dominant.
Well, the game comes down to a Bucky or two, a Sheriff, a Frenzy, and a classic full utility. Just about full armor across the board. Zelsis opting into some of that utility rather than the armor here in this round. And I think at a certain point, probably coming into that half, you're thinking, all right, we got to start prepping for Haven because it was just looking so incredibly grim.
Okay.
Version 1, though, starting to battle back against the Spectres. Pure still alive. Still very dangerous and very healthy. The blast pack looks to push him away. Boombot to try and find the information as to whether or not he is in heaven still. And unfortunately, it is going to miss its mark and head on out to sight. 3 players playing on. A nice little headshot there from player 1 with the Sheriff. Not enough to find the kill. Enough to cut him down. Just enough for the rest of the squad to close it out. It's the leaping Bucky. And here we go. Dust the comeback underway.
All right, Tanner. You know, I don't like your odds on that bet, but, you know, maybe if V1 can get their way up to, like, 7 or 8 rounds, I'll start to believe a little bit, but it's going to take a lot more than that to knock XSET off their pedestal, you have to imagine. But, you know, at least getting a little bit of something out there as we take a look at the shoe shop here.
That goes there. This is a nice spot.
You know, I will say... XSET have been on the receiving end of a game like this against Envy on split. They've lost 13-1. So, you know, it's all been building up, right? This is the culmination of a whole lot going into it. And XSET really trying to say, you're not taking our limelight.
It was a deja vu half
is,
too, right? XSET started on the attack and only got 1 round. So, it's just, like you said, it's a very similar scenario, but I think XSET wants to be on the winning end of this one. They're well on their way to doing so.
Not too far off. Aries hitting the toesies there of both Pure and Weeded. And cut them down out towards mid. And it is that eco round. Unfortunately, it's only up to Thwifo here. So version 1 looking to punch their way into 3 rounds. And we might see a little bit of Sentinel on Sentinel action. The turret to be taken down. Oh, Thwifo picks up 1, picks up 2. 1 Bucky is better than none. 1 kill to follow. The next one's so close, but Effie's is finally gonna shut down the terror of Thwifo.
Imagine that's how it ends, bro. Imagine if that's how it ended, man. What a ride this has become, it feels. But yeah, prior to their win against Immortals yesterday, which was massive, by the way, they won that 13-3. They were on a 4-game losing streak. But again, all those losses were to Sentinels and Envy, 2, you know, top 3 teams in the region. Again, V1. Not of that same caliber, and they haven't faced that level of opposition on a regular basis. So that's kind of one of the storylines that was out there for me is, yeah, V1's been on the come up, but, you know, this is like a really big test to fight an XSET team who, again, are gatekeeping that next, you know, echelon of the NA rankings. And now we have economies fully out for both sides. Thwifo putting that pressure on B lobby. The rest of the team trying to establish a bit of mid control. While their Astra kind of just plays outside that A site, just kind of keeping tabs on any aggression.
Vanity almost the first to contact there as they slowed down. Lockdown going to come on through. It's not going to clear out towards the back of the site, so I'm assuming we see a bit of utility headed that way. And this is such a good map for the Killjoy, right? Because who stops that? There is no Hunter's Fury. There's nothing really. There's no... You know how hard it is to bank your paint shells off the walls there and try and get that down? Now, not paint shells needed. Instead, it's just going to be the Phantom for FBs. Another Phantom starting to go to work on the B side. Vanity on 2 HP is able to find a kill before finally going down. But Weeded not done yet. Looking for a resurrection. Able to pick Pure back up and turn things back in their favor.
Showstopper? That was a clutch person to select on the ult to get the showstopper back into play in a 3-on-2 to help shut down this retake. So great decision making in a tense moment.
And shots back gonna stop the footsteps. The Ares only is good for one as player one. Surely they know exactly where this Cypher is at. Had to shoot down the wall. The showstopper gonna go wide, but it doesn't matter. It's the rifle instead.